The arms and ammunition that were used were basically precision-guided munitions. The aim was to target the militia camps, the military infrastructure, but not cause any harm to the civilian population, because that would have again gone against the Americans. Then armed drones were utilized, and there were missiles which were launched from the naval ships. And EW resources were employed so that the Venezuelan army is not in a position
Yes.
to kind of counter retaliate the Americans. Yeah,
Right,
over
sir.
to you.
Absolutely, and now I'll go across to Major General Sivach now. General Sivach, this comes right after we see that the Chinese official was also on Venezuelan soil, and it seems that this also became a point of contention, despite Maduro also at least visibly trying to extend an olive branch. But how do you read into this? What could happen from here on as far as this American strike is concerned now?
One must understand as far as Venezuela is concerned, once upon a time it was closer to US and majority of the oil was taken by the US company. But now what has happened is 70 to 80% of the oil which it exports, it goes to China. So obviously now the aim of Donald Trump is he's eyeing for those oil fields of Venezuela because it is in the world as far as oil is concerned, it has got the largest oil field. Now the point is that the excuse which America is giving that the drug cartel is being done, illegal oil is being sent from Venezuela to other countries. These are merely the excuse. Basically, aim is to regime change. Now, how is the USA doing it? USA has gone in a multi-pronged strategy. It is now already surrounded Venezuela, and especially in Caribbean Sea, it has got its USS Ford, which is the largest aircraft carrier. It has got also frigate, warships. It is attacking basically the military installation. Pressure is put on so that Maduro Nicolas raises his hand or he leave the country. Aim is to regime change. That is the aim of US, nothing more, nothing less. Because they feel that the Venezuela oil are very important for US and they want somehow, however, the Chinese influence to reduce it. Now, what will happen in case there is a full-fledged war? If China, Russia or Iran can interfere? To me, it looks like that USA is not physically going to attack Venezuela. It will only basically make use of missile, rocket, drones, and also bomb through the aircrafts. Aim is to put heavy pressure on Nicolas Maduro so that he leave the country. The US is not going to physically attack that. The second thing is that what will be the response of China and Russia and Iran, I think it's going to be limited. They are also not going to interfere directly. They can possibly give weapons which they have already given. The air defense system is given by Russia. Shahid drones are given by Iran. China is also armed. So overall, the situation is quite, you can say, precarious. But to me, it looks like that Venezuela does not have too many options. And the way situation is unfolding, it looks Venezuela may not be able to hold on for long. And there is a chance of America putting pressure and Nicolas Maduro raising or leaving the country because sabotage has been also done. A lot of CIA agents have already infiltrated in Venezuela. That's a very important thing because it was a multi-pronged strategy which US is adopting.
Brigadier, we have seen that Maduro has continued to, resist even the attempts at isolation and sanctions after sanctions for years now, Brigadier Khanna. But this time, as General Sivach was pointing out, that there is not much of an option that is left for Venezuela. What are the chances, if at all, China, Russia, Iran, who have been militarizing Venezuela as well, is there any chance that they would be stepping in any capacity?
No, I absolutely agree with General Savage. None of these three countries are going to get directly involved. Firstly, they have their interest, though they have their interest in Venezuela, but it could lead to a bigger confrontation, which none of these countries want to have. I would just get into the implications of this. strike, the regional instability is going to occur because the entire South Americas is going to shift into anti-US and pro-US stance. There are countries which are supporting the US and there are a lot of countries which do not support. So it's going to get into a situation of the Cold War era where there are countries who are aligned to Russia and China, so on and so forth. Then there will be like I said, a polarization which takes place because of this anti-US stance is going to be very, very strong. Next is the revival of anti-US relationships with other countries is going to take a backseat because it was taking place, but it's not going to take place any longer. Impact on Venezuela will be, yes, the oil. Of course, the Americans, like I had already mentioned, they had put sanctions during the Hugo tenure also, and so have they done presently. But now the sanctions are going to be very strong, and with the oil exports not being permitted by the Americans, the Maduro government is going to suffer further, and economically Venezuela will be got onto its knees.
Yes.
The US wants to reassert its dominance in the South Americas. It does not want to get into a long-term entanglement with Venezuela. That's why they are not going to put foot on ground. And as the general was mentioning, it is only going to be standoff strikes, be it from the naval ships or fighter aircrafts or missile systems, and so on. And yeah.
Many thanks, Brigadier Khanna and Major General A.K. Sivaj, for joining us with your insights and reading of the situation. We shift our focus to some more breaking news that we're getting in right now. So this is another Hindu being murdered. Khokon Das has succumbed to his burn injuries. 50-year-old Hindu businessman in Bangladesh. Khokon Das has succumbed to his injuries in Dhaka. He was attacked and set on fire by miscreants in Damudya Upazila of Shariatpur the 31st of December while returning home from his shop. And now, after this mob attack, he was set ablaze. Remember, he was looted and attacked and set ablaze. He ran a pharmacy and a mobile banking business, and he had suffered severe burns and injuries. And Khokon Das has now succumbed. He has died, and this is fourth death in Bangladesh. Fourth Hindu man to die after being attacked by the jihadi mob in Bangladesh. Hindu man Khokon killed. He succumbs to his injuries as he was being treated. He was set ablaze and he jumped to a nearby river so as to douse the flames. He fought against life. He fought against death, but he has today succumbed to injuries. So this is the state of affairs. Persecution of Hindus once again being brought to light in Bangladesh. Hindu man Khokon Das succumbs to injuries, dies after he was attacked in a targeted killing in Bangladesh. And viewers, this is after we saw what happened with Deepu Chandra Das, what happened with Amit Mondal, and there was another man who was killed in Mainman Singh. And now this is a fourth death of a Hindu man in a fortnight or so, or maybe less, that a Hindu man is killed in Bangladesh. This is an open, a free run that has been given to the jihadi forces, an anti-India, an anti-Hindu hatred. Those flames have been fanned by the Jamaat and other forces, the jihadi forces who have taken over right after the toppling of Sheikh Hasina's government, right under the nose of the Nobel Peace Laureate, the chief of the interim government, Muhammad Yunus. Khokon Das is the latest casualty, the latest one in the list of Hindus being targeted, mercilessly, brutally attacked in Bangladesh. This is the breaking news we have right now. Khokon Das was running a business and he has now died. He was set on fire on New Year's Eve, and he succumbs to injuries after 3 days. He was beaten very badly and set on fire. He was going back to his home, and he ran a medicine and mobile banking business in his village that was 150 kilometers away from Dhaka. Okay, Executive Ed Niranjan joins us on the broadcast. Niranjan, well, this is, this is the fourth death in at least 10 days. Hindus being targeted right on the nose of Muhammad Yunus. Kokon Das now succumbs after the brutal attack.
Well, Kokondas, we had the videos as well of him being rushed to the hospital a few days back. I think 2 days ago, 48 hours back, we broke the story of how a businessman who runs a shop in Bangladesh was returning home when he was attacked. We had those videos as well. That is a video of him being wheeled out and into the hospital. And he has now succumbed to injuries. Now, his wife, speaking to the media, has also said that Kokon Chandra Das was attacked because he had identified some of the assailants. So these radicals who are on a spree to target Hindus, there is a sense of fear across Bangladesh as Hindus continue to be attacked in different parts of Bangladesh. And Kokon Das is the third in the last 10 days to be targeted. After Deepu Chandra Das, you had Amrit Mandal, and now Kokon Das. In fact, some more details came in of how and why he was targeted. On the day that he was attacked, and this is in Bangladesh, he was targeted because he recognized the attackers in this particular case. His wife's name is Seema Das, and Seema Das has given a few interviews confirming that he was attacked by two members of a gang. They initially tried to kill him. He survived the attack and he fell into the river. He was set ablaze. He fell into the river and just managed to, come out of it alive 2 days ago. But he was being treated for injuries and he succumbed to burn wounds as well. He used to run a pharmacy at Shariatpur district, Bangladesh's Shariatpur district. Ironically, it's called Shariatpur. And this is at the Kyurbanga Bazaar in Shariatpur district. And this was on the eve of New Year. So the attack itself took place about 48 to 72 hours ago. And he was returning home after shutting his shop when the attack took place. And the wife has said that the attackers may have tried to kill her husband since he recognized them. And then she has told the media that he closes the shop each night and usually returned home at the same time. But on one of these days, he recognized two of the attackers, and that is why they may have tried to kill him, is what she has said. And she also says that they had absolutely no prior enmity, no reasons for anybody to have attacked Kokon Das, which confirms that this is a clear case of a targeted attack on Hindus in Bangladesh. Now, this is the third attack in the last 10 days. A third Hindu has been killed, and she has been quoted as saying, this is Seema Das, the wife of Kokon Das, quoted as saying that we don't understand why terrorists suddenly targeted my husband and attacked him. He had suffered grievous burn injuries to his hands, face, and even to the head. He was taken to a hospital in Dhaka. He was being treated in Dhaka. He breathed his last after being treated in Dhaka, is what we can confirm. Now, according to the police, they've identified two of the attackers, is what we understand. This is what at least the police is saying on record. And this particular attack on Kokon Das comes, at a time when three of them have been killed already. And last week we had Amrit Mandal, a 29-year-old youth who was lynched. He was lynched in Kali Mohar in Bangladesh. And Mandal was attacked after an extortion bid. He was killed. And in December, towards the end of December, you had Deepu Chandra Das. He was a garment factory worker, a case that even India raised diplomatically with Bangladesh after the different protests, that were also witnessed in different parts of India. And despite India raising it diplomatically, these attacks continue to happen, and Kokon Das has succumbed to these injuries. I'm handing it back to you for now.
Yeah.
And that is why this morning, in a related development, of course, Hindu groups had questioned why we had, after all of these attacks, continued to entertain Bangladeshis. A Bangladeshi cricketer was taken into our IPL team, and they've been forced to release him today. The BCCI has been forced to, take some action.
Oh, absolutely. Well, thanks, Niranjan, for joining us with details on that story, viewers. It's time for a very, very short break, viewers. But on the other side, we get you the latest development from Maharashtra as Ajit Pawar openly mocks the BJP, says he's in power with the same people who once accused him of 70,000 crore rupees scam.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
Republic questions the official line, the rest of the media toes. The bigger question is, who gave this information? Had they done something? The nation wants to know what on earth is going on. We have no interest, we have only national interest and your interest.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डकोर मसाला।
When we look out at the world, Samir, we look for partners. We don't look for preachers. Engaging America has become more complicated. You all know why.
Having a neighbor that is an epicenter of global terrorism.
India in 2025 saw many international diplomatic moments of India's External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, who literally turned international politics and the diplomacy that comes with it into an art of savage roasts. From jeering comments on Pakistan to calling out Trump and Western hypocrisy, here are the top roast moments of the year 2025, where Jaishankar served cold but harsh truths month by month.
All big countries are unique to an extent, but we would certainly hope, to the extent we think of democracy as a universal aspiration, ideally a reality, but at least an aspiration. It is in large part because India chose a democratic model after independence. And it chose a democratic model because we had fundamentally a consultative, pluralistic society. Now, there was a time, and I have to say this in all honesty, where West treated democracy as a Western characteristic and was busy encouraging non-democratic forces in the global South. It still does. In many cases, I can point to some very recent ones, where actually everything that you say you value at home, you don't practice abroad. So I do think the rest of the global South will view, the successes and the shortcomings and the responses of other countries. They will also ask themselves which ones of them they relate to, I would argue that in many ways, India, because it's historically been an open society, one very much linked with the world,
उसके बाद जैसे ही पेपर हो गए थे तो पेपर होने के पश्चात फिर जब जून जुलाई अगला सेशन चलता है तो जून में उसने एडमिशन लिया था और एडमिशन तो लिया था लेकिन फीस जो वो सबमिट नहीं करवा पाई थी और फिर वो कॉलेज तो आती थी पर जो सेकेंड ईयर की जो क्लास होती थी उस सेकेंड ईयर की क्लास
कई तरह के गंभीर आरोप लगाए हैं। आरोप ये है कि आप उसे गलत तरीके से टच करते थे, आप उसे सेक्सुअली असॉल्ट करते थे, हरास करते थे, वो तरह का वीडियो है जिसकी वजह से उसकी मौत हो जाती है। आप समझते हैं कितना गंभीर ये मामला है?
सर मैं आपकी बात से बिल्कुल सहमत हूँ जो मेरे से पूछना चाह रहे हैं। तो मैं इसके बारे में ये इतना ही कहना चाहूँगा कि सोशल मीडिया में जितने भी सारे चीज़ें सामने आ रही हैं उनकी जांच पड़ताल हो रही है या जांच हो रही है और जांच होने के पश्चात जो कुछ भी होगा, जो भी सामने आएगा, अगर मैं दोषी हूँ तो दोषी के लिए अगर मेरे मेरे लिए जो भी पनिशमेंट होगी मैं उसका सामना करने के लिए तैयार होगा। जैसे ही जैसे जिस तरह की भी
छात्रा से कब बात हुई थी? क्योंकि छात्रा ने कहा है कि अशोक सर आपको टच करते थे, अलग अलग जगहों पर गंदे गंदे इशारे करते थे, इस तरह के आरोप लगाए हैं। आपकी आखिरी बार कब उस छात्रा से बात हुई थी?
मेरी स्पेशली बात तो उससे नहीं हुई, लेकिन जब मेरे पास पढ़ती थी तो पढ़ने के दौरान तो मतलब आज जैसे दूसरे बच्चे क्लास लगाते थे तो क्लास वो भी लगाती थी, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं था कि हम स्पेशली उसके लिए मतलब कुछ बोलते थे या कोई मतलब किसी तरह की कोई बात करते थे। मतलब जब सेशन चला गया, पेपर हो गए, तो उसके बाद मेरे से कभी भी बात उससे नहीं हुई।
क्योंकि टीचर्स और भी हैं, 8-9 सब्जेक्ट्स और भी हैं, आरोप सिर्फ आप पर लगाए हैं, ऐसा क्यों? और भी तो टीचर्स हैं, उनके ऊपर भी आरोप लगा सकती थी। छात्रा की जान चली गई है।
जी, मैं आपकी बात से बिल्कुल सहमत हूँ। मेरी जो लास्ट टाइम बात हुई, बात भी नहीं हुई, लेकिन जब मैं मतलब डिपार्टमेंट आई और डिपार्टमेंट जब दूसरे सर से मैं बात कर रही थी और बात ये कर रही थी कि मैं मतलब फेल हो गई हूँ और मुझे सेकेंड ईयर में मतलब दाखिला दीजिए, तो वो सर समझा रहे थे उनको, मैं ये समझा रहे थे कि बच्चा ऐसे नहीं होता, और ऑन रोल ऑन एडमिशन होती है, जब आपका रिजल्ट निकल जाता है तो।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
Amity has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to Amity's excellent placement record.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
5, 4, 3. S200 motors. Plus 20 seconds. Lift off normal.
L40 stages are ignited.
Plus 5 seconds. Plus 20 seconds.
First stage performance normal.
Thank you for joining us on Republic TV. Ladies and gentlemen, the big story, attack on Venezuela. America has launched strikes on Caracas, Venezuela. Several military targets have been hit. Continues to be our top focus, getting you the first response of the Venezuelan government in the next few minutes. Here are the headlines. Multiple explosions over Caracas in Venezuela as America strikes Maduro. No official word from the American government yet, but reports suggest that the US government and Donald Trump ordered the strikes on Caracas in Venezuela. Indore Municipal Corporation officials have been sacked. Politicians continue to be spared as more documents show how for almost 3 years the pipeline that killed many people in Indore kept pending. Ajit Pawar openly mocking the BJP now, says he's now in power with the same people who once accused him of 70,000 crore scam, and then says he's looking forward to a reunion with Sharad Pawar. The BJP hits back at Ajit Pawar, asks him to choose his words carefully. A 19-year-old girl dies. In her last video, she claimed she was harassed, ragged, bullied. Republic tracking the story from Dharamshala in Himachal Pradesh. Big jolt to KKR. Another Hindu killed in Bangladesh. BCCI, under public pressure, asks KKR to release the Bangladeshi player. Protests escalate against the Iranian regime. More pictures coming in from different parts of Iran today. Ladies and gentlemen, the story of a 19-year-old girl who passed away. She was hospitalized for almost 100 days after her health suddenly deteriorated. In her video, one of the last videos that was shot in a dying declaration, this 19-year-old claimed that she was bullied by her teacher and a few others in school, in college, in the government college in Dharamshala. And we have the video. And she eventually passed away after almost 100 days in hospital. It's a story that Republic is tracking closely from Dharamshala, investigating what really led to her death and sudden deterioration in health condition. The girl's last video is extremely moving. Take a listen. Here's what happened. Here's what she told her family and those she trusted before she eventually passed away.
हिमाचल प्रदेश के धर्मशाला में 19 वर्षीय छात्रा की मौत मामले में लगातार जो अंबेडकर एसोसिएशन है वो रोष प्रदर्शन कर रही हैं। फिलहाल जो तस्वीरें हैं वो आपको हम धर्मशाला की दिखा रहे हैं, जहां पर जो अंबेडकर सभा है उस छात्रा की मौत मामले में न्याय की गुहार लगा रहे हैं। आपको बता दें कि सोशल मीडिया पर एक वीडियो वायरल हुई थी जिसमें जो छात्रा है उसने कॉलेज के प्रोफेसर और 3 छात्राओं के ऊपर है गंभीर आरोप लगाए हैं, जिसमें छात्रा के साथ मानसिक प्रताड़ना, मानसिक उत्पीड़न, उसके साथ साथ सेक्सुअल असॉल्ट की जो बात है, हैरासमेंट की बात है, वो कही गई है। इस मामले में जो कांगड़ा पुलिस है उसने भारतीय न्याय संहिता है उसके तहत मामला दर्ज कर लिया है। फिलहाल जांच है वो लगातार इस मामले को लेकर हो रही है। जो लोग यहाँ पर प्रदर्शन करें उनसे बात कर लेते हैं। आपका मामला क्या है, क्यों आप लोग हैं यहाँ पर प्रदर्शन के लिए पहुँचे हैं?
हम सर इस लड़की के न्याय की गुहार लगाकर जो है आज हम डीसी कांगड़ा को अपना मेमोरेंडम देने आए हैं कि जो अपना प्रभावित परिवार है, दुखी परिवार है, पीड़ित परिवार है, इसको अविलंब न्याय दिलवाया जाए और दोषी जो हैं उनको उनके दोष के मुताबिक जो है सजा दिलाई जाए।
I want to now play the video, ladies and gentlemen. The date, it's not the 2nd of January. We'll just try and correct that. But we have the dying declaration of this girl, a 19-year-old. I'd like to play that out right now. Okay, so we'll come back to the story from Dharamshala, ladies and gentlemen, because we're getting in some breaking news now on Venezuela. The Venezuelan government has responded. That's the breaking news update coming in. There's a full statement that's come out after the attack by America on Venezuela. The pictures that came in from Caracas, let's go across straight to those pictures, because we now have a statement with us from the Venezuelan government. The Venezuelan government saying that they reject before the international community the extremely serious military aggression that was perpetrated by the current government of the United States of America against Venezuelan territory and population in civilian military locations in the city of Caracas and in different states of Miranda, Aragua and La Guara, claiming that it was not just in one location but in multiple locations, saying that this is a flagrant violation of the Charter of the United Nations. Venezuela claims, we'll take the screen as well, there is a screen, saying that the object of this attack is none other than to seize Venezuela's strategic resources, particularly its oil and minerals, in an attempt to forcibly break the political independence of the nation. This is breaking news once again, breaking news of what Venezuela has said. There are many videos, at least 10 videos. We'd like to play out those videos one by one as they came into our newsrooms earlier today.
Marico. Verga esa, weón.
Plan. Tell me the plan. Don't tell me to.
C'est beau. C'est beau. C'est beau.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the controversy of Kolkata Knight Riders or KKR signing up a Bangladeshi player, we now have a significant development with the BCCI asking KKR to release the Bangladeshi player, followed by KKR acknowledging that demand that came in and going on to formally release Mustafizur Rahman, the Bangladeshi player who was taken into the team. There were questions raised by different Hindu groups and Indians across the board asking KKR why they went overboard to bring in a Bangladeshi player into the Kolkata team. Devkinandan Thakur has been speaking about it, a spiritual leader. He was live this morning as he reacted to KKR, eventually having to fall in line and release the Bangladeshi player.
आप जिस व्यक्ति का नाम ले रहे हैं मैं उसको नहीं जानता हूँ।
अच्छा
होगा स्टार विस्टार, वो अपने लिए होगा, हमारे लिए कुछ नहीं है।
अच्छा, पता नहीं आपको?
मैंने तो नहीं, आई डोंट नो।
ओके ओके ओके।
तो मैंने तो मिस्टर केकेआर से कहा था और मिस्टर केकेआर से ये कहा था कि भाई जिस बांग्लादेश में इतने लोग मारे जा रहे हैं, मंदिर जलाए जा रहे हैं, व्यक्ति जिंदा जलाए जा रहे हैं, मंदिर तोड़े जा रहे हैं, और जिस बांग्लादेश में हमारी छोटी छोटी बच्चियों के साथ 6-6, 7-7 साल की बच्चियों को जिंदा जलाया जा रहा है, और उस बांग्लादेश के एक क्रिकेटर को रखकर आप क्या मैसेज देना चाहते हो भारत के सभी सनातनियों को और बांग्लादेश के सभी सनातनियों को? तो मैंने ये बात बीसीसीआई से भी कहा था कि उसको नहीं खिलाना चाहिए, और ये बात केकेआर से भी कहा था। तो बीसीसीआई को आफ्टर सम टाइम कि उन्होंने जब सुना और ये बात समझी कि व्यासपीठ पे बैठा हुआ एक व्यक्ति इस मुहिम को प्रारंभ कर रहा है और व्यासपीठ पे बैठा हुआ एक आदमी उस बात को कह रहा है, तो उन्होंने इस बात को समझा और सनातनियों की, बहुत सनातनियों की संख्या को, उनके दर्द को समझा और उन्होंने कह दिया कि अब वो नहीं खेलेगा। तो इसके लिए बीसीसीआई का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। बट मिस्टर केकेआर, उनका एक बयान अभी तक इस पूरे घटनाक्रम में नहीं आया है। ये हम सब सनातनियों को सोचना भी चाहिए और हमारे लिए दुख की बात।
मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाहता हूँ देवकीनंदन जी, a few months back they all put out posters saying all eyes on Rafah, all eyes ये वो, all eyes on Gaza, सभी पोस्ट कर रहे थे। और जो एक्टर के बारे में आप बात कर रहे हैं केकेआर, मिस्टर केकेआर भी बहुत साल पहले क्वेश्चंस उन्होंने उठाया था। ही हैड स्पोकन अप फॉर दीज इश्यूज, राइट? ये एक प्रॉब्लम है हमारे एक्टर्स में, हमारे फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में, कि हमास के बारे में बात करते हैं, पैलेस्टाइन के बारे में बात करते हैं, बैग्स लेके आता है आई स्टैंड विद गाजा करके, लेकिन ये जब हिंदूज के बारे में बातचीत होती है, इनफैक्ट आपको ये भी कहना चाहता हूँ कि आज एज वी स्पीक कोकोन दास Third Hindu killed in the last 1 week. Abhi usko attack kiya gaya tha 48 hours back. He has succumbed to injuries today. He has died. He's passed away. Third Hindu in the last 1 week.
आप ये सोचिए कि जो लोग पूरे गाजा के साथ में खड़े हो जाते हैं, वो हिंदू मारे जा रहे हैं बांग्लादेश में, उसके साथ आवाज नहीं निकालते हैं। इसका मतलब एक चीज तो मुझे समझ में आती है कि बॉलीवुड को हिंदुओं का पैसा तो चाहिए। वो ये तो चाहते हैं कि हमारे हिंदू जो लोग हैं वो थिएटर में जाएं, टिकट खरीदें, उनको पैसा दें, उनकी फिल्म को सक्सेस करें। लेकिन जब हिंदुओं पे संकट आएगा, विपत्ति आएगी और जब उनको वाकई उनकी आवश्यकता होगी, तब वो लोग हमारे साथ में खड़े नहीं होंगे। और ये बात सब हिंदुओं को समझनी भी चाहिए। हालांकि आप समझ भी रहे हैं, अभी सनातनी इस बात के लिए कि बांग्लादेशी क्रिकेटर नहीं खेलेगा, तो जब एक आवाज उठी और उसके पीछे हमने सारी आवाजें उसके पीछे लग गई, तो आज ये दिन देखिए कि बीसीसीआई ने हमारी बात को माना। दिस इज आवर वॉइस पावर, ये हमारी आवाज की शक्ति है, सामर्थ्य है। तो हमें इस सामर्थ्य को एकजुट होकर मनाना चाहिए। और हमें जैसे बांग्लादेश के क्रिकेटर को निकाला है, आपके चैनल के माध्यम से ये भी कहूंगा, जब तक हिंदुओं पर बांग्लादेश में अत्याचार बंद नहीं होता, तब तक भारत में रह रहे सभी सनातनियों से निवेदन है, किसी भी बांग्लादेशी के साथ कोई व्यवहार आप मत करिए, उनसे फल मत लीजिए, उनको काम पे मत रखिए, उनसे कोई काम मत करवाइए। और ये हम करेंगे अपने हिंदू भाइयों के लिए, बांग्लादेशियों के लिए, तो शायद बांग्लादेशी उनको बचाएंगे और फिर उनके साथ अत्याचार नहीं होगा। और ये हमारी पहल हो सकती है और करनी चाहिए हमें।
वो लेकिन ये बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है जो आपने बोला। माय लास्ट क्वेश्चन आपसे कि आपने अभी जो मुहिम के बारे में बात की, इट्स अ नेशनल प्रॉब्लम, दे आर एवरीवेयर। इनफैक्ट मैं आपको एक चीज़ कहना चाहता हूँ कि हमारा कन्नड़ा चैनल भी है, रिपब्लिक कन्नड़ा, और कर्नाटका में एस्टिमेट्स ये है कि ऑलमोस्ट एक ये जो कॉफ़ी बेल्ट है वहाँ पे शायद 3-4 लाख बांग्लादेशियों है वहाँ पे, और पूरा स्टेट में शायद 10-20 लाख भी हो सकते हैं, 2 मिलियन एक स्टेट में। ये बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है।
नहीं, ये सब देखो, हम लोग जितने भी राजनीतिक पार्टियां हैं वो जो कर रही हैं वो करें, लेकिन हम लोग जो अपने पर्सनल लेवल पे कर सकते हैं वो तो हमें, ये तो मेरा राइट है ना। मेरे घर में कौन काम करेगा? मैं किससे सब्जी खरीदूंगा, मैं किससे फ्रूट्स खरीदूंगा? दिस इज माय पर्सनल चॉइस। ये तो सरकार मुझे बेबस नहीं कर सकती ना। तो जहां मेरे पर्सनल राइट्स हैं वहां तो मैं उसको प्रारंभ तो करूं। जब मैं उससे प्रारंभ करूंगा तो हम लोग एक तो एंड तक भी पहुंचेंगे। और अब बीसीसीआई के इस निर्णय से हम सबको ये समझनी चाहिए, कलयुगे संगठने शक्ति। अगर हम एक साथ खड़े होंगे, इसी में हमारी शक्ति है। हम सबको एक स्वर में बोलना चाहिए, और एक स्वर में बोलेंगे तो पूरा विश्व भी सुनेगा।
हाँ जी, थैंक यू।
बांग्लादेश पे अत्याचार जो हिंदुओं पे हो रहा है वो कोई भी हिंदुस्तानी नहीं सहन करेगा। और ये सबसे बड़ी श्रद्धांजलि होगी कि हम अपने यहां से बांग्लादेशी को निकाल दें। ये हिंदुओं के लिए सबसे बड़ी श्रद्धांजलि होगी। दैट्स इट।
एब्सोल्युटली। दीपू चंद्र दास, अंकित मंडल। Ladies and gentlemen, a New Year's Eve celebration turned into unimaginable tragedy. Devastating fire that ripped through the crowded bar in Switzerland, in Crans-Montana, claiming 40 lives, injuring over 100 people, many with severe burns. Details are trickling in now, giving us a glimpse of what really happened. Survivors are sharing their accounts. Here's a comprehensive report.
The thing is, there were a lot of people at the entry trying to escape, and was full, and people was walking on everybody, you know, trying to escape, and a lot of people was screaming, trying to escape, and I saw a lot of people on the floor, and I think these people was dead.
Oh la dinguerie! Oh gros, bouge, bouge, bouge!
The thing is, just before I was at the restaurant just next to the Constellation, and a friend told me there is an explosion inside the Constellation and 2 deaths at the moment. So I went out to see what happened, and I saw the fire inside the place, and a lot of people was screaming, and it was a bit horrible. The thing is, there were a lot of people at the entry trying to escape, and was full, and people was walking on everybody, trying to escape, and a lot of people was screaming, trying to escape, and I saw a lot of people on the floor, and I think these people was dead. Now there is just front of the restroom, there is an escape, and just front of the Constellation you have two escape, but it's little escape, it's not that big, so I think it was difficult to escape from the place. Yeah, nobody was thinking it could happen at the New Year's Eve. It's horrible, and everyone was shocked, and all the party around the Constellation was a bit, the how you say that, all the people just left all the bar, or the restaurant, because to saw what happened.
On 1st January 2026, at least 40 people were killed and around 115 others injured in a fire at a New Year's party in a Swiss ski resort bar called Les Constellation in Crans, Montana. Authorities said many of the victims were young, and it will take several days to identify all of them.
Nous dénombrons une quarantaine de personnes décédées et environ 115 blessés, la plupart grièvement. Je rappelle que pour les besoins d'enquête, la rue centrale de Cran est fermée jusqu'à nouvel avis. Dans l'immédiat et pour les jours à venir, la priorité sera mise à l'identification des personnes décédées afin que leur corps puisse être remis rapidement à leur famille. Il était environ 1h30 lorsque la fumée a été aperçue émanant d'un bar situé au centre de la station de Cran. Quelques secondes plus tard, un témoin a contacté la centrale d'engagement de la police cantonale valaisanne pour signaler cet incendie. Immédiatement, l'alarme rouge, qui est destinée à mobiliser les pompiers, a été déclenchée. Moins d'une minute plus tard, soit à 1h32 du matin, les premières patrouilles de police sont arrivées sur les lieux, à savoir la gendarmerie et la police intercommunale de Grand Montana.
13 helicopters, 42 ambulances, and 150 emergency responders were sent overnight to the scene of the fire in the Valais region, which is popular with tourists.
Je suis encore sous le choc, j'arrive pas à me rendre compte de ce qui s'est passé. J'ai l'impression qu'en fait c'est un cauchemar, que je vais me réveiller. Et pendant cette nuit, j'ai pas dormi une seconde. J'arrivais pas, je fermais les yeux, j'avais tout qui me revenait dans la tête. Parce que j'ai vu des gens se faire réanimer, j'ai vu des gens complètement brûlés, j'ai vu des gens en train de mourir. Franchement, c'était assez compliqué et assez difficile, on va dire, à encaisser. Moi, j'étais dehors. J'ai juste vu en fait une grosse lumière rouge dans le bar avec plein de, on va dire, poussière. Et après j'ai vu les gens se pousser, tomber des escaliers en foule pour se sauver, on va dire. Parce que là c'était le premier qui sortait, le premier qui se sauvait, on va dire. Et franchement c'était assez tragique à voir parce qu'il y en a du coup qui se faisaient marcher dessus. Et surtout que je sais qu'il y en a qui n'ont pas pu sortir et qui ont été malheureusement décédés à l'intérieur.
Switzerland has announced 5 days of national mourning for the victims. The process of supporting families, identifying victims, and treating the injured is expected to take several days.
Political battle in Maharashtra with Ajit Pawar openly mocking BJP now and hoping for a reunion with Sharad Pawar. Story developing in Maharashtra coming up on Republic.
5, 4, 3.
S200 motors.
Plus 20 seconds.
Lift off normal.
L40 stages are ignited. Plus 5 seconds. Plus 20 seconds. First stage performance normal. L40 stages thrust cutoff. Plus 5 seconds. Auto tracking. PT drive tracking.
USLV 661 का सफलतापूर्ण उत्थापन पतन प्रमोचन मंच से अपने उद्दिष्ट कक्षा की ओर अपना सफर जारी कर चुका है.
Normal.
There's a magnificent
2, 1, 0.
All L40 engines generating nominal thrust. S139 motor ignited. First stage performance normal.
One, 0.
क्या होगा मेरा?
तो पता चलेगा साहब के साथ
नहीं होगा. डांट बेकार नहीं है. दादा मीडिया में क्या दिक्कत है यार?
सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला. सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार.
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला.
When we look out at the world, Samir, we look for partners. We don't look for preachers. Engaging America has become more complicated. You all know why. Having a neighbor that is an epicenter of global terrorism.
India in 2025 saw many international diplomatic moments of India's External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, who literally turned international politics and the diplomacy that comes with it into an art of savage roasts. From jeering comments on Pakistan to calling out Trump and Western hypocrisy, here are the top roast moments of the year 2025, where Jaishankar served cold but harsh truths month by month.
All big countries are unique to an extent, but we would certainly hope, to the extent we think of democracy as a universal aspiration, ideally a reality, but at least an aspiration. It is in large part because India chose a democratic model after independence. And it chose a democratic model because we had fundamentally a consultative, pluralistic society. Now,
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल. ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े. क्या निराला MDH मसाला. केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे. दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे. केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार. विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मम्मा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा,
राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
5, 4, 3.
S200 motors.
Plus 20 seconds.
Lift off normal.
L40 stages are ignited. Plus 5 seconds. Plus 20 seconds. First stage performance normal. L40 stages thrust cut off. Plus 5 seconds.
ऑटो ट्रैकिंग।
PT driver tracking.
PSLV 661 का सफलतापूर्ण उत्थापन प्रथम प्रमोचन मंच से अपने उद्दिष्ट कक्षा की ओर अपना सफर
First
जारी
stage
कर चुका है।
performance normal.
There's a magnificent
2, 1, 0.
All L40 engines generating nominal thrust. S139 motor ignited. First stage performance normal.
And we have big breaking news coming in right now. Donald Trump says that the US has captured Maduro and his wife and that they have been flown out. That's the breaking news after strikes at the military bases at the defense headquarters. Multiple strikes in the Venezuelan capital city. We have Trump himself, the President of the United States, announcing that the Venezuelan President Maduro and his wife has been captured and that they have been flown out. That's the big breaking news we have right now. So US now attempting the what we were of course looking at a change in the government, the regime change in Venezuela. United States ousts Maduro, and that's the breaking news we have right now. Trump says that US has captured Nicolas Maduro and his wife after the strikes. We saw those helicopters that were flying above Caracas, they were hovering over Caracas. The visuals show that, and the loud explosions that were heard. An emergency situation was announced, and soon after we see Trump announcing the capturing of Nicolas Maduro. US orders strikes, Trump orders strikes inside Venezuela and captures the president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro. This is the biggest escalation, and this is out-and-out regime change that has been attempted by the United States of America. Venezuelan president captured after a series of attacks in the capital city of Caracas. And this is the big breaking news we are getting to you right now. First on Republic TV, Trump says that US has successfully carried out strikes in Caracas inside Venezuela. And Niranjan Narayanaswamy joins us live on the broadcast. From Niranjan, well, the regime change attempt is clear, and we understand it is successful as of now because Trump has announced that Maduro has been captured by United States along with his wife.
This is a regime change operation.
Yes.
Regime change operation executed completely by America, and it was carried out, finished in a couple of hours. The choppers came in, went out, and the US president has just confirmed that America has successfully carried out large-scale strike against Venezuela and its leader Nicolas Maduro, who has been, along with his wife, captured and flown out of the country. This operation was done in conjunction with US law enforcement. There is going to be a news conference conducted by America at 11 a.m. at Mar-a-Lago, which is the American president's residence in Florida. We have the live shot as well. The live shot on APTN, Associated Press, giving a live shot of Caracas in Venezuela for the aftermath of these strikes. Now, this is unprecedented, unprecedented because a president of a country has been picked up and taken away in choppers, flown out in choppers. Maduro and his wife, Maduro along with his wife, have been captured and flown out of Venezuela. Trump administration has captured Maduro and his wife, and they have taken him out of Venezuela. This is unprecedented, ladies and gentlemen, for America to do this to any other country and its leadership. American choppers have gone in. American Air Force, American military has conducted strikes, and they have taken Maduro and his wife out. We saw those choppers. I think we'll keep the pictures of the choppers out as well. You saw those pictures. In fact, we were wondering what were those choppers. Were those choppers of let's show those choppers. Yes, those Chinooks. Those were Chinooks over the Caracas skies. And these Chinooks, US choppers, were at least 8 of them, as you can see in those pictures that came in. We were wondering why so many choppers, American choppers, were there. And all these choppers, it is now confirmed, were there to take Maduro and his wife out, to escort, rather to capture Maduro, capture Maduro's family and take them out. It's now been confirmed Maduro has been captured by America, taken to an undisclosed location. We don't know whether they have been taken out, into American land. We don't know where they are being kept, or perhaps at an army base. But I can confirm to you that America has captured Maduro. Now, there was another statement that came in earlier, communication from the Venezuelan government. Venezuelan government was guarded. Venezuelan government only said in its statement a short while back that this was to seize Venezuela's strategic resources, particularly its oil and minerals, in an attempt to forcibly break the political independence of the nation, and that they will not succeed. After more than 200 years of independence, people and their legitimate government remain steadfast in defending their sovereignty, etc. And we were also given to understand that Maduro had given some statement, but it now appears that it was not Maduro, it is someone else, because Maduro is in American custody. So this is extremely, intriguing how this happened. We are still waiting for the details of the operation. But in this operation, Maduro has been taken into American custody, captured completely, and Trump has now confirmed. In fact, US government was completely tight-lipped. Yes, I have the tweet of Donald Trump, if you can put that out. Donald Trump himself has confirmed. Donald Trump himself had confirmed that his government and his forces had carried out a large-scale strike. Trump called it a large-scale strike against Venezuela and Nicolas Maduro, saying that along with his wife, he was captured, flown out of Venezuela, and this operation was done in conjunction with US law enforcement. We don't know what the charge will be against Maduro, but this is an extremely significant global development, ladies and gentlemen. We will see how different countries respond to this, because most South American countries are already protesting against the American strike on Venezuela. But this is next level when we are hearing that America has captured Maduro. Yeah. Maduro has been captured in an unprecedented global development. In fact, in the last few days, we've had America carry out strikes on Venezuelan drug boats. But this is escalation by America, and America has decided to capture him. And let me tell you that as of this minute, we are getting in different reactions from different countries. Even Iran has protested against the strike on Venezuela. And the biggest breaking news update now is that Maduro has been captured. We don't know where he's being taken, but we can confirm to you that the strikes were not just in Caracas in Venezuela, but in different parts of Venezuela. We have some more details coming. In fact, from the initial details that we can share with you right now, at least 7 explosions rang out low-flying choppers, low-flying aircraft that were seen over the capital of Venezuela in Caracas, and military installations were targeted. From the first statement that came in, we were told that even Maduro had taken stock and given some sort of a statement, but Donald Trump has said that Maduro himself has been flown out of Venezuela. So this is a regime change, perhaps a regime change operation that is now complete. That is now complete in Venezuela. There is ongoing military activity, and 8 choppers were seen. Those are pictures of the choppers most critical, because it is now confirmed that the choppers perhaps flew out Maduro from Venezuela. Now we don't know whether there was, whether he was captured without any bloodshed, but the strikes confirming that the military, perhaps the Venezuelan military headquarters, military was completely neutralized. The targets were carefully picked, and after the military headquarters was neutralized, Maduro was taken out. He's been captured. As far as the Venezuelan government is concerned, Venezuela has confirmed that this was an attack to perhaps seize strategic assets. I have some of those videos that came in. I'd like to play out some of the videos of the initial strikes as they came in. Let's play them out, please.
Right.
Is this a regime change in Venezuela? We are still picking up details, ladies and gentlemen. Still picking up details. But one thing is clear, that Maduro has been captured and is now in American custody, as confirmed by Donald Trump, the US president. And we're getting in more details of who else has been captured. We don't know who's in charge in Venezuela right now. So the story is evolving as we speak. And Donald Trump posted on Truth Social initially, and we have a confirmation that there is also going to be a news conference 11 a.m. US time, roughly around 5 to 6 p.m. in India. We should be able to get the first statement, and we can confirm to you that there is going to be another official statement perhaps in the next few minutes. We're expecting more and more government departments in America and the government, the State Department also, to perhaps give some details of the operation itself. Yes. I have the Donald Trump tweet once again. Let's put that out. That's the first confirmation that came in that told us that Maduro was captured. This was Donald Trump saying that the United States of America has successfully carried out a large-scale strike against Venezuela and its leader, Nicolas Maduro, who along with his wife has been captured and flown out of the country. This operation was done in conjunction with US law enforcement. There will be a news conference 11 a.m. Mar-a-Lago, that's in Florida. Expecting that news conference at Trump's estate sometime today. Is this a regime change? We don't know. This was a massive operation. Choppers were seen. Apache Chinooks that were seen over the Caracas skies earlier today told us that there was a big operation. And the entire air defense system in Venezuela was perhaps taken down, and choppers moved into the capital of Venezuela, and they have been taken out. Maduro perhaps was at his residence. We don't have a confirmation, but a confirmation that has come in that wherever he was picked up by Americans and taken away in choppers out of Caracas. This is a confirmation coming in. At least 7 blasts were heard in that video that came in, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm staying with this story. This is the biggest global headline right now, that America in the last few days, which has been striking drug boats. Initially, we were told this was an attack. This was a strike on the drug operations of Venezuela, but it's something much bigger. Is America trying to seize strategic Venezuelan assets? We know that they've been eyeing oil-rich nations. Venezuela, in its first statement, says this is an attempt to strategically seize oil assets in its country, on its soil, by America. I want to play out with the videos, ladies and gentlemen. The whole story was in the videos that came out. I'd like to play out those videos once more. Let's play them out, Rakshita. We had several videos that came in, and some of the videos confirm that the attacks themselves were also on military targets that were carefully chosen in Caracas. She's also joining us live. Major General G.D. Bakshi on the broadcast. Let me try and go across to him. Major General G.D. Bakshi, this is unprecedented. This is unprecedented. Maduro has been captured. He and his wife captured and taken away in choppers by the Trump administration. There were strikes, at least 7 explosions heard, 7 blasts heard. It appears to be a very carefully, well-planned operation to dislodge Maduro. One, dislodge Maduro, take him out, and perhaps a puppet government will come in now in Venezuela.
That is what it appears to be from what the reports have come out so far. It appears that there has been a carefully chosen timing, well-timed attack on a number of military installations in Venezuela, and there has been a special forces raid on the headquarters of Maduro. He and his wife, the Americans are claiming, have been taken out of Venezuela. The point that this is indeed surprising, because I'm sure there must have been some guard outside the presidential palace, etc. But they seem to have been taken totally by surprise. The point at issue now is what will...
known to have, Venezuela is known to have largest proven oil reserves. I'll just bring in strategic affairs expert Rabinder Sachdeva as well here. Mr. Sachdeva, estimated 303 billion barrels. Venezuela is home to world's largest proven oil reserves. Now, this could be a field day for US companies, isn't it? And that's why we see Venezuela saying that it is an attempt to only target the resources of Venezuela.
No, absolutely so, without any doubt. And as you very rightly say, Venezuela sits on the largest proven reserves of oil on planet Earth. It does not produce as much, right?
Yeah.
For various reasons. Production is Saudi and Russia and America. So our viewers would be well, aware that Venezuela is the largest oil reserve, and that is one big factor in this whole calculus. The other big factor in this calculus is, of course, Trump and America do not want any leftist, socialist, China-friendly regime in their backyard. And you may remember just hardly a few weeks ago, the US came out with its national security strategy doctrine, right? Wherein it said that the Western Hemisphere has to be completely under the dominance of the US. So that's the other factor with, regime change, which America wanted. And then, of course, the issue with drugs, fentanyl and cocaine smuggling, and illegal immigration, and crime gangs from Venezuela, which Trump claims are disturbing peace in America.
I have to interrupt you there, Mr. Sachdeva, and General Bakshi, please stay on with us. We have the reaction coming in. The first reaction from Maduro's administration. In fact, the defense chief, Vladimir Padrino Lopez, has reacted. He says it's been subjected to criminal military aggression by US government. It's driven by greed for our strategic resources. Listen in, viewers.
Buenos días, pueblo heroico de Venezuela, soldados y soldadas de la patria, hijos e hijas de Bolívar. La Fuerza Armada Nacional Bolivariana informa al mundo entero que en la madrugada de hoy, 3 de enero, el pueblo venezolano ha sido objeto de la más criminal agresión militar por parte del gobierno de los Estados Unidos de Norteamérica. Hasta el momento, la barbarie de las fuerzas invasoras que han profanado nuestro suelo sagrado, en las localidades de Fuerte Tiuna, Caracas, los estados Miranda, Aragua y La Guaira, llegando a impactar con sus misiles y cohetes disparados desde sus helicópteros de combate en urbanismos de población civil, para lo cual estamos ya levantando la información referente a heridos y muertos. Frente a este ataque ruin y cobarde que amenaza la paz y estabilidad de la región, elevamos la más contundente denuncia ante la comunidad internacional y todos los organismos multilaterales para que se condene al gobierno norteamericano por la flagrante violación de la Carta de las Naciones Unidas y del derecho internacional. La Venezuela libre, independiente y soberana rechaza con toda la fuerza de su historia libertaria la presencia de estas tropas extranjeras que solo han dejado a su paso muerte, dolor y destrucción. Esta invasión representa el ultraje más grande que ha sufrido el país, que responde a la insaciable codicia de nuestros recursos estratégicos. Muy lejos de una supuesta lucha contra el narcoterrorismo, esta deplorable acción busca forzar definitivamente un cambio de régimen y someternos a los designios espurios del imperialismo norteamericano, pisoteando el derecho inalienable a la autodeterminación por el que lucharon.
So, Major General Bakshi, we just heard the defense chief, and he says, he calls it a military aggression, criminal military aggression by America, and driven by greed for for Venezuela's strategic resources. Now, for decades, from Chavez's time, we've seen there have been attempts from America. America always had interest in these Latin American countries. Venezuela has been one of them. There was a coup attempt during Chavez's time as well, which failed. And Maduro has also been resisting all the attempts to isolate him, sanctions after sanctions and whatnot. You feel that somewhere Maduro got an inkling of what's coming, and he just a day ago had tried to extend an olive branch, assuming that he has no other option left. Now, what really happens here, sir? Is US going to install another government? What really happens from here on?
Like I said, we are a bit surprised, but not too much, because the simple fact is that America has a habit of not taking on peer group military powers like Russia or China, but chooses targets carefully for their weakness, you know, for their helplessness. They've hit Libya, they've hit Iraq, they've hit Afghanistan. But the amazing fact is, in each of these, they had severe problems, especially in Iraq and Afghanistan. They got bogged down in long-term insurgencies. And at the end of it, they had to leave. So there were a number of American military experts, strategic experts like Professor Mearsheimer, who were warning the United States not to do this because it could lead to getting bogged down for the long term. From the way things have gone, the air defense systems, the early warning systems of Venezuela do not seem to have performed well at all, because the American heliborne forces were able to penetrate. That means the suppression of enemy air defenses, SEAD, was near total. They have used a barrage of missiles, cruise missiles, Tomahawks, etc., to soften the target. And the special forces have launched a very neat precision raid to capture Maduro alive. That quite obviously means that there were not much defenses at the presidential palace, which is surprising. And if there were, they haven't put up much of a resistance, or seem to have been taken totally by surprise. What remains to be seen is, will the Venezuelan armed forces, will the Venezuelan defense minister continue the fight, even in the absence of Maduro? Will he continue the fight? Will he continue to resist in terms of a guerrilla war? From the way it has gone so far, doesn't seem likely. That means the Americans have been able to, enforce their sway in their own backyard. They've gone in with overwhelming strength. They've gone in very carefully, very methodically. They've chosen, like I said, a target with care so that it is weak and America can show a big drama to the world that of how powerful the American forces are. They remain to be tested against pair group forces. They remain to be tested against pair group forces. Will this take the shape of Libya, or will there be a resistance at the grassroots level? Will there be an insurgency that goes on and bogs the United States down interminably? Remains to be seen. But from what has appeared so far, it seems to have been a successful operation, a very neat operation to insert special forces which were ready for a long time. The American aircraft carrier Gerald Ford, one of the largest, was there on Setu with a naval armada. Some 30 boats purported to be carrying drugs had been sunk. 3 to 4, oil tankers had been captured. And there were some rumors that the Russians had sent in the Iskander missiles, hypersonic, and other equipment. Even the Chinese are supposed to have supplied equipment. If the Chinese had supplied air defense equipment, it seems to have been a bit of a disaster like it had turned out in Pakistan. We will have to await more results. Details now are sketchy. What remains to be seen is, will Venezuela simply fold up like Libya, or will they continue the fight? Will they continue the fight? Will they try and hit back at the United States itself through the Iskandars, through the others? I'm sure the United States would have taken some preemptive action to prevent that kind of a scenario. We'll have to wait and watch, but for the time being, it looks like finito. Not a very creditable fight by the Venezuelans so far. Whether they continue the fight, even in the absence of their president, remains to be seen. Here was a charismatic president, no doubt. He had resisted for 2 decades. He had resisted coup attempts. He seemed to be coup-proof like Cuba. But now they have used their special forces to physically take him out. Will the rest of Venezuela just fold up and surrender, or will they show the fight? Will they show some fight? Will they put up a fight is what remains to be seen. And if they do, and it becomes a guerrilla quagmire for the United States, then there could be outcomes that are not very rosy for the Americans. But for the time being, from what has appeared so far, and which is very sketchy, they seem to have succeeded. Otherwise, it has come from the highest level. Donald Trump himself has confirmed that they have Maduro and his wife in their captivity.
Absolutely. You know, Ms. Robin Sachdeva, as we're talking about the Delta Force, as per reports, the US military's elite special mission unit, which has been, of course, conducting operations all across the globe for decades now, including the ones in West Asia as well, be it Iraq and others as well. They had been deployed. So it was a fully planned, capturing. And this would be, of course, being, planned for a long, long time now. But as, General Bakshi was saying that, the US has not been tested against brute forces, major forces. This sort of a strike, what Venezuela is left with no options. What, in your understanding, could be any assistance coming? Do you see any sort of assistance coming directly or indirectly for the Venezuelans?
Thank you. I don't think, or I don't see, any chances of any assistance coming to Venezuela of the military kind. Neither Russia nor China is going to be sending their troops, right? Yes, they might be supplying the weapons, and they are supplying the weapons. But now, when will the weapons reach? And even if the weapons reach, what scale and what efficiency and what this thing of the weapons would be there. So as of now, it looks Venezuela has no or not much options. However, the fact is that the Venezuelan military How it conducts itself in the coming days and weeks is the key point. The military in Venezuela was heavily loyal to Maduro. Loyal oblique had its own self-interest. Maduro had promoted more than necessary number of generals in the army. There's a certain proportion here. He was promoting people, good high salaries, and also giving the army the positions in various public sector organizations. And of course, oil is a big, producer there. So the PDVSA, the National Oil Company, many of the army generals were employed, quote unquote, or in PDVSA, and they were, of course, partaking in corruption and extra income. So the army had a huge interest to stick with Maduro. Also, the army faces many charges of human rights violations and such, right? So the idea is that if Maduro is replaced and let's say a new government, quote unquote, government comes in power, the opposition, then many of the army generals will face very severe cases against them of corruption and much more. So therefore, the army did not want Maduro to go. Now, Maduro gone. Does the army stick on in its own self-interest to perpetuate its own, hold in the country? That would be the thing. Or in some time, an opposition, which is there already, emerges and comes to power through some, electoral or some such interim government process. I think that's what America is pushing for. Basically, yes, get Maduro out. Let there be political instability, chaos, the army, bogged down, and people come to the streets and say that a new government has to come in place. That's what America is playing for, one. Secondly, in this, a tangential, target is also Cuba. Cuba depends to a good extent on Venezuelan oil. Okay, it purchases about 50% of its import needs from Venezuela. Once that oil goes down or is, blocked, already Cuba was suffering economic impact due to the, blockade of Venezuelan ships. So there could be simultaneously economic crisis in Cuba, which could again prepare the grounds and make a ripe situation for regime change. So Venezuela, let's see how it goes, is the first one. It progresses. And then subsequently, I do think that Cuba could also be very much on the target in terms of the plans of America. Going back again to the NSS, the strategy document which they released a few weeks ago, this whole region, America wants its complete dominance in this Western hemisphere. So therefore, obviously, the leftist and socialist regimes and those regimes which call America an imperial power or blame it for imperialism, okay, they would need to go according to the Trump doctrine. That's what it seems.
Mr. Sachdeva, before I go across to General Bakshi, I want to again just come to you for a response on what impact this could have on the economy as well if US gets its way. And it's, apart from that, it's really interesting to see when, United States goes on to lecture, Trump wants the Nobel Peace Prize and goes on to lecture on ceasefires and why India and Pakistan should not fight and how it could have been so bad and whatnot. US goes in where it wants to goes in and conducts strikes and captures the head of state. Sir, this is something really what the world is watching is the double standard of the Americans, and Trump per se in the latest is an example, is a testimony to that, sir. What impact would this have if I would, have your reaction on the economy as well?
Well, thank you very much. Both points very valid. Impact on economy, and secondly, to the point, see, America looks at itself as a lion in the jungle.
Yeah.
Okay, it is prowling, and wherever it feels necessary or needed, it captures a prey for itself. That's what the American foreign policy now is. We are back, broadly speaking, to the rule, if not the rule, to the jungles. Okay, that's it. Now, in terms of the economic impact, it could, by the way, help crude oil prices. Because if this transition happens, let's say, if it happens, right, theoretically, and in a month or so, things settle down and Venezuela has an interim some government in charge, and the leftist socialists are out of power in Venezuela. Venezuela is no longer an anti-US thorn in the side. Then Venezuelan oil will flow into the market. Already, by the way, yes, Chevron, one American company, has, and it continues to harness oil from Venezuela under a special agreement, right? But now it could mean that you would have ExxonMobil also coming in. And by the way, remember, next to Venezuela and bordering Venezuela and Guyana and in the sea, there has been another major discovery of oil, I think about a year ago. Right. So this whole region is very rich in oil. So it would mean that ExxonMobil and Chevron would increase its, production, whatever production it has. So thereby, it would bring more oil into the world market. And if it brings more oil, then economics would say that the oil prices should go down. Okay. It could also have an impact on Cuba. As I was saying, Cuba will no longer be able to get a special deal on the Venezuelan oil under an agreement they had. They were getting discounted oil. So Cuba, again, will face more economic distress. China is one of the biggest buyers of Venezuelan oil, right? China would have to probably also now ratchet up or down whatever the world oil price